when you change the price of your artwork thinking that it'll cause your art to reach more people or make more sales, it's just not true, because your art either resonates or it doesn't, and price won't change that. And I was just like, wow, one small change and my income immediately like became comfortable for me, like in my daily life. And it just made my life so much easier, and it's like I can put so much more energy back into my art. So last week I was at an art market and I was talking to one of my friends who's a vendor there. And like, you know me, I'm a very opinionated person. So when I see things, I'm like, I have opinions about them. But I always do my best not to offer unsolicited advice, because showing up at all is winning the battle in my book. But as friends do, we got to talking and we got onto the topic of pricing. And while I can't remember exactly how it came up, I eventually told her that she could price her work way higher. And she agreed, and we talked about it for a little bit, but ultimately, towards the end of the conversation, she said, I like to keep my prices low so that it's accessible to anyone. And while I love this concept, like it's a very admirable concept to make your art very accessible, right? I love that intention. And the thing is, I've heard this a lot from a lot of artists. I've seen some of the artists that I follow post about it on Instagram. People are asking me again why my prices are so low, and it's because I want accessibility. And it's just a big conversation in the art world around pricing. And for me, when I hear this, let's just say I want to offer you another perspective, because in my experience, keeping your prices low does not do anything to make your artwork more accessible, at least not in the way that it matters. And it actually introduces a whole lot of other problems for your art business, because price doesn't equal accessibility, and actually price doesn't determine whether or not someone buys your work in the first place. So lowering the price does not always mean lowering the barrier to entry for enjoying your artwork. And there are ways to make your artwork more accessible without devaluing it by price. Today I wanted to share with you a couple options, ways to structure your art business so that you can share your art guilt-free while also making a profit. Because let's face it, as artists, we deserve to live and eat too, the same as any other business. Sometimes the word profit can feel so icky, right? Like the concept of making money can sound icky at times. I think that we get fed a lot of things growing up about how when you start to make money, sometimes you can feel like a bad person for asking for sales. After all, no one sits down to make paintings because they want to get something out of it, out of people. Artists create to give, to express, to connect. And so when we try to turn art into a business, there's often like this weird difficulty translating art into sales. And I can totally understand why. Like, I also felt very icky about putting the price tag on the back of the canvas the first time. Honestly, the 100th time. At the end of the day, sometimes you just ask, does making money make me a bad person? And I want to offer you a perspective here. What if money's neutral? What if profit is neutral? There's nothing good or bad about it. It's just one more thing out there in the world. What if we don't have to judge it? We're not Jeff Bezos here. We just want to keep the lights on, keep a roof over our heads, and eat food occasionally. Maybe have a cute dress or two, who's to say? Get some coffee in the morning? Like, is that so wrong? No, not at all. And also, another perspective I like to think of is, do you feel bad making money as an employee for someone else? No, you don't. Do you feel bad when you go out to spend the money you made at your employee job? Do you feel guilty about spending the money earned with that labor? No, you don't. And so I really want to encourage you to view the labor that you put into your artwork not any different than that. If you can do that guilt-free, you can sell your art guilt-free. See, the thing is, you have the power in your hands to carefully and purposefully engineer a life that you love to live, and building your art business is that for you. At least it was for me. Like, art business has its own challenges, right? This is a little tangent here. Art business definitely has its own challenges, and I do believe you have to have a certain personality for this to work for you, and I'm gonna make a separate video about that. But for me, when I started embracing the fact that being an artist means being in sales, things just started looking up for me. Like, it started to make much more sense when you can decrease the shame you feel around making money on your art. Because making money from your art is not a bad thing. It is what allows you to continue to pour your soul into it. And when you're you're not worrying about when your next sale will come from. And that's what happens when you have low prices, right? When you are not charging enough for your artwork, you are worrying, where is my next sale going to come from? Because you're going to need more customers in order to meet your bottom line and cover the cost of materials and the cost of labor. And when you don't have to worry about that, when your prices are justly created within value of the marketplace, you don't have to worry about that. And you have so much more energy to pour back into your artwork and into your community, into the things that matter for you. So let's create an art business that allows you to build a livelihood without leaving people behind. Because my priority is making you feel seen, confident, comfortable in your creative life, I want to invite you to join the Small Joys Club. There's a link in the description to learn a little more, but essentially I write you a letter every single month that celebrates the small joys in life, and I don't know, I think that you'd really like it. Anyway, the biggest problem with the mindset of keeping your prices low to sell to more people, to not exclude people because of their budget, has the implication that when your prices are low, you can sell to different kinds of people that you otherwise are excluding if your prices are higher. And what I have found is that this is just not the case. What I have found is that when I change my pricing, it does not change who buys my artwork. It doesn't add more customers. For example, I do art markets like every single week. And there was a time when I was debating on the pricing for my art prints. And so I was so anxious about it. I was so anxious about adding $5 to the price for my art prints. I was like, oh my gosh, people are gonna look at this and they're not gonna want it anymore. But they did. They did still get it. And I had a special where it was buy one, get one half off, and I was so anxious about lowering that, even buy one, get one 40% off, and I was like, oh no, no one's gonna want, and they did. They still bought it. Because if I have a booth at an art market and the same exact people walk by my booth, I will get the same people buying the same art prints, whether or not that print sells for $5 or for $35. Because price, and this is the most important thing that you can take away here, price does not determine who buys your art, value does. And value is not the price tag on your artwork. Value is what your customer gains when they take your artwork home. So let me tell you a story. A year ago, and this is a memory that will stick with me forever, I was at an art market and I set up my booth. And it was one of my first art markets that I was doing in the year leading up to me building my Small Joys brand. And towards the beginning of the market, I had this older gentleman come up to my booth, and he stood there like an arm's length away, and like he almost like looked like he did not want to approach at all. And he said like almost these exact words. He was like, "I'm sorry, I'm gonna be of no help to you. My wallet is spitting dust. I don't have anything to spend." And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's totally fine. Like, art's just here for you to look at. Come on, just cozy on up, chill with the vibes. I don't mind at all. And as he's looking and I'm just chilling there reading my little book, eventually the mood shifts a little. He picks up this postcard and he's like, "How much is this one?" And I said it was $5, and he's like, "I'll take this one, please." And I package it up for him, and as I'm doing that, he lets me know that he was struggling with a new diagnosis, this new illness he was struggling with, and he wanted this art print to look at on his wall every morning to remind him that life goes on. In that moment, the value was not the $5 they paid for the art print. The value was, I get to wake up every day and look at this reminder on my wall. That is what you are offering people for sale. And the experience this man had with my artwork was very unique to him. Just like any of us, when we look at artwork, we have an experience that is very unique to us. And so when you change the price of your artwork thinking that it'll cause your art to reach more people or make more sales, it's just not true, because your art either resonates or it doesn't, and price won't change that. I'm just gonna sit with that for a minute. And so when you're trying to think about reaching more people, not excluding people from your audience when you're making artwork, there are much better ways to do it than changing your price. Another key reason why you do not want to change your pricing across the board for your art business is because it lowers your perceived value in the market. I try to think of pricing in terms of tiers. So instead of lowering the price of your original paintings to become more accessible, create a new product. Maybe have limited edition art prints for people with that smaller budget so that they can also enjoy your artwork. And if prints are too expensive, consider creating another product like postcard prints, greeting cards, stickers even. Although I'm not the biggest fan of stickers personally, I like to use stickers as a little thank you in my orders, but I don't sell them alongside on my shop. This way, your value across the market stays up, your reputation as a company stays up, you stand amongst your competitors as equal players, and you are still reaching a larger audience and serving people of different budgets. To help illustrate the point of tiered pricing, I want you to think about how you make your purchasing decisions. Like, for instance, when I am out there in the wild, out at Home Goods, for instance, I usually have a price range in my head of what I'm willing to spend on what. And that price range will change depending on what I'm looking at. Like, I wouldn't expect to spend the same amount of money on furniture or a lamp the way that I would spend on a mug. And if I approached a mug and it was like $100, I'd be like, what? I probably wouldn't get that mug. Or if I approached furniture and it was $5, I'd be like, is this broken? Is this gonna fall apart on me when I get home? Is there like mold under there somehow that I don't know about? It causes you to question the quality of the product if the pricing is not what you expect it to be. And so a lot about getting good at pricing your artwork means being aware of what other people are selling their work for in similar spheres. And in art, that can be a little hard sometimes, right? Because art is the one industry that I have seen so much fluctuation in like what people are willing to pay for what. See, the thing is, I just don't think you're attracting the right kind of buyers if your artwork is priced too low. Like, you might get a couple people that are like excited for the steal, but they are not the kind of long-term interested people in your art career that you want to have in your audience. The kinds of people that will invest in you repeatedly, the kinds of people who value handmade original artwork. So if people look at your art prints and expect them to be the same price as what they see in Target, like, they can go shop at Target. I also want you to consider that people enjoy spending good money for what they consider to be good value. So I was at an art market a few months ago browsing around booths, and I picked up some earrings. I instantly wanted them, and when I went to purchase them, she said they were $5. And I don't know if this makes me a bad person, but I instantly did not want them anymore. Or my mood was just like, and I was just like, oh, like, did you make them? Or is this from China? Or and she said she made them, so I did end up taking them home, but I almost never wear them, and I left the buying experience less happy than if she had told me 15. Because like I said, when you lower your price, you make the customer doubt the quality of your product. And let's be honest, sometimes you do enjoy spending a little bit more because it feels like a little self-indulgent. It makes you feel like you're helping an artist. It makes you feel like you're investing in them, and you enjoy giving them that gift you enjoy giving them that investment. And so I really want to urge you to allow people the opportunity to invest in you as an artist. A couple months later, I was at an art market myself, and I always like to browse around the booths because what else will I do? And I didn't even plan this. I swear I did not plan this, but I bought these earrings. Oh my gosh, they're like literally my favorite earrings ever. And these earrings were like $18, I think, and I left that experience feeling like I'm on cloud 9. I was so happy. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever gotten. And it's because it felt like I was getting the value out of that whole interaction when I was spending something that was within the parameters of what I expected to spend. And when you are in front of like a real artist standing there in front of you, you're going to expect to spend a little bit more. And I like knowing that I'm supporting artists, and there are a lot of people out there in the world that will happily pay you a little bit more, and that's a good thing, both for you and for them. And you might get the occasional comment like, oh, I can get it cheaper somewhere else. But that doesn't mean you should lower your prices. That just means that for this specific customer, they don't value handmade original artwork from a contemporary artist. They value Target art, and let them go buy Target art. People are allowed to have their opinions, and I promise you, you will find people who are just as excited to have something as unique as what you can offer them. Pricing your work low is not the solution to accessibility. It only makes it so much harder for you to make a living as an artist. Low prices means you need more customers, more sales in order to hit your bottom line and cover the cost of materials and labor. Requiring more sales to meet your bottom line is just not conducive to living a healthy life as an artist. You're always going to feel like like you're chasing the next sale. You're always going to feel like you don't have enough money to live. And it just honestly does not have to be that way. Like, you can make a comfortable living from your art guilt-free. And when I price my work accurately within the range that people are expecting to pay for original, unique artwork, I find it so much easier to make a living as an artist. And I have so much more energy to put back into my art business, more energy to give back to my customers, because I'm not worried about income anymore. And I feel so good about giving my artwork to new homes, and my customers feel good about the fact that they have something that is unique and wonderful. So other than tiered pricing, what are some other ways that you can make your artwork accessible without lowering the market rate? Let's talk about it. Make sure you're subscribed, because that's what I'm talking about next. Or if you're watching this in the future, I don't know, click here to watch now. This is your little reminder to hit the subscribe button and like this video and tell the YouTube algorithm that I'm a cool cat in the cool kids club, and more people should watch cute, cozy little art talks like this. I'm curious to know your experience about pricing too, because I know I can't be alone in the anxiety of raising your prices, but once you do, it's like, it's like literally I raised my prices by $5 for my art prints, and my income immediately like became comfortable for me, like in my daily life. And I was just like, wow, one small change that doesn't hurt per customer, like each customer is still happy to pay it. And it just made my life so much easier, and it's like I can put so much more energy back into my art. Anyway, that's my little TED Talk for today. And I really do want to encourage more artists to be more comfortable with pricing their artwork a little bit higher. Really consider like incrementally like adding a couple dollars, like $2, $3, $5 to your art prints and reproduced works and stuff like that. Because you deserve to live and eat too, the same as any other business. As always, spending any amount of time here on this channel with me is a gift. I really do consider it a gift, and for that, this humble artist says thank you. Have you subscribed yet? And when I went to purchase them, my cat knocked my eyeliner over.